Hello and welcome back to Catch and Cook California. I'm Kevin. This is video number 23 in my series, How to Freedive-Spearfish California. Today, we're headed down to Southern California. We're gonna go look for lobster, maybe some scallops, maybe some fish. And today I'm teaming up with my best friend, Alex. Let's go.
Now before we get into the details of this dive, there is a specific season for lobster if you didn't know that. There's a specific size and bag limit as well, and it's very important that you adhere to the rules associated with lobster and other fish. In Southern California, make sure you have a lobster card and ocean enhancement validation. That way you can find bugs like this. And to help you find bugs like this, use a dive light. The dive light that I'm using today is the Torch D530. This thing is very bright, and we're going to talk all about it in a minute. So right when we got in the water, in the low vis right beyond the surf, I ended up finding a nice legal lobster. I marked it with my float line and called Alex over. This was his very first attempt ever going for a lobster, even though we've been diving together for years. And so I really wanted to make sure that I got this on film. So we dove down. I used my dive light to illuminate it, and you can see just beyond this murky water from the sand being kicked up in the surf, there he is just sitting right there on the edge of this rock. So now Alex dives down, he sees it, he comes in with the light from one side and with his hand on the other, grabs it perfectly. And as he's coming back up, I'm turning my light off. I always shine it on my hand to make sure it's off. That way I'm not wasting my battery. Very nice catch, Alex. It's so cool to see a new diver get his first lobster. And honestly, Alex is my best friend ever, so this was extra cool. So here I am gauging it, and I need to gauge right between the horns and the end of the carapace here. And you can see I'm going to pause the screen here, that it is legal. If the hook of that gauge was over the top of the carapace and onto the tail, it would not be legal. So we put them in the bag. Make sure your bag is totally secured and locked down. Otherwise, these guys will definitely get out. Dropping back down to the reef, all of a sudden I saw this. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but there is something very cool right there on the edge of the reef. So Alex and I breathed up, dropped back down again, and this time Alex is going to try to get the drop on it. This is an absolutely beautiful cryptic fish. Boom. Good shot, Alex. So this is a cabezon. This one's about 16 inches. So let's watch it again. You can barely see anything, and then boom, there it is. These guys can change colors. They have no scales. They have incredible patterning. They blend in so well. And they are also one of our favorite fish to eat. So Alex has already got this nice cab and his first lobster. We're off to a good start, folks. So he brained the fish, and meanwhile, as I'm having any kind of conversation with Alex, anytime I'm talking on the surface, I'm always treading water. Using my long blade fins just like you would tread water with your arms. When you're diving, it's important to use your legs as much as possible and to use your arms less. You can also do a scissor kick like this. It's a little less efficient than treading water, but this is how we stay afloat, especially if we need to have a conversation and have our head out of the water. But remember, anytime you're doing that, you're going to be less efficient than just laying flat on the surface, so better to just lay flat and breathe up. So diving back down here, I ended up locating a few really nice rock scallops and back in the caves as well. And again, I'm using this Torch. This is an absolutely awesome dive light. This was sent out to me by this company, and it's my second one that I've used. I really like them. Very bright, especially for the size of the dive light. So I popped one off, came back to the surface, called Alex over, again using the pry bar at the end of my float line to mark the spot. Alex dropped down. I was about the end of my breath hold here, and so I wanted to film him popping the first one, and then I thought he was going to go right back to the surface, but instead he went right there and popped the second one, and then moved on to a third one. Nice breath hold, Alex. Anyway, he decided I think 2 was good enough, so coming back up to the surface to breathe up. Now, again, back to this dive light. You can see a cave here, and from a distance, or even if you get up close, you can see some of what's back in there. But by lighting it up, you can see all the details. And a lot of times what happens, especially when I'm hunting for lobster or scallops, is I'll take a look at a cave and from a distance or even when I get in close, I don't see anything. And as soon as I light it up, boom, back of the cave, there's an antenna sticking out from around the corner, or there's this vibrant orange or gray lip from the scallop, something that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And it's not just Southern California and diving for scallops and lobster, it's also Central and Northern California. You can see some really nice bugs back there. Oh yeah, we call them bugs. Yeah, big lobster, but not quite legal. So I'm going to move on and keep looking. But yeah, this is a great strategy for hunting holes in Central and Northern California for cabezon, rockfish, and lingcod as well. So again, using the light, dropping down, there's a lobster. Look in the back there. There's probably 3 more of them kind of stacked up in this crack back in here. Yeah, so they're all through this crack back in here. And back down into this cave, getting my body a little bit back in here just to take a look. There's a couple back in there. Female sheephead back there. She buries her head in the sand, so to speak. She's just trying to pretend that I'm not there, kind of hiding, but she's definitely very vulnerable, but I'm not hunting female sheephead. Yeah, behind this boulder you can see all the antennas sticking out. There's a whole bunch of bugs, but none of these guys are quite legal in here. But really what I wanted to show you is just that sometimes you find a cave that's just chock full of bugs and you're never going to see them if you're not using a light. So I definitely recommend a good light. I'll leave a link in the description as well as a promo code you can use if you want to pick up one of these orca torches. One last set of antenna. This one actually did look legal, and he does the classic lobster thing where he keeps his antenna out front, ditches out, and I didn't get him. I was greeted by some beautiful leopard sharks at the very end of the dive and eventually decided to coil up that float line and head back in. We were super stoked with Alex's very first lobster. Now it's time to cook. All right, post dive, we're cooking up the lobster. We're cooking up some of Alex's homemade Italian sausage. There's a highway over here making a tremendous amount of noise, but this is the best place we've got because the sun is going down, and we're gonna make a carbonara. So I've shown you how to do this before. I've already dispatched the lobster. I'm going to cut right around the inside of the carapace, twist and pull out the tail. Then I'm going to use the base of the antenna. I'm going to go into the dookie chute, and the barbs on the antenna is going to allow me to pull out the hoop line. I don't remember what you call it, the vein. It's going to allow me to pull the vein out. That means that it's a totally poop-free lobster tail. That's going to go into salted boiling water, and I'm going to start prepping the herbs. I'm going to chop these up, chop up some garlic. Alex is grating some Parmesan cheese, and he is browning this homemade Italian sausage. When the lobster's ready, usually it's about 10 minutes, nice and red and beautiful. We're going to pull that out. We're going to get our pasta going. I'm going to crack the shell, remove the shell, and toss it in with the pasta, and that shell is going to impart some nice flavor to those noodles. Alex is scrambling up some egg, mixing it in with Parmesan cheese, and this is going to be the base of our sauce. We're deglazing the pan. We got a little bit of herbs and some garlic in there. We're going to throw our noodles back in there, mix in that sauce. We've also reserved some of the grease left over from the sausage. All of this is coating these noodles. We're going to mix our lobster tail back in there, get all these flavors married together, top it off with Parmesan cheese.
We're really excited about this one. So Alex, you made the Italian sausage yourself.
I did, yeah. Italian sausage. I harvested the fennel near my house.
So we got that, we got a carbonara here. So real quick before this gets cold, the story is the very first thing that I did after finishing my dissertation was call this guy, meet up with him at the coast, and we went and caught eels. I'll leave a card up here you can click to see that video. But on that adventure, the thing that we didn't film was when Alex made carbonara, and it was super good, and I was like, we have to film that in a future video. Yeah. So I can't imagine a better way to do it than pairing it with homemade sausage and lobster. So carbonara usually uses bacon or pancetta, is that right?
Originally pancetta, a non-smoked pork belly, cured pork belly.
But this variant was something that I had never had, and Alex made it just like this with sausage the last time, and I was like, dude.
Sausage carbonara is pretty good, good alternative.
All right, I'm going sausage.
Oh, good call. A sausage medallion. All right. The sausage is good. It's got a really good flavor.
That yellow jacket wants some.
Oh yeah.
Get out of here, yellow jacket.
The way that they're cut, like in rounds like this, it makes each side kind of crispy. So that's nice.
Yeah.
But it is also nice just to like grill them too, because they're real juicy.
Good link sausage.
These are pretty tasty.
No, I really dig that though. That brown, like it gets that crispy, seared kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Changes the texture, changes the flavor too. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
It's almost, dare I say it, kind of like a crispy side of bacon. All right. Oh my God. Wow, it's really sweet.
Dude, sweet, and the texture, nice and like chewy, but kind of breaks apart.
It's almost like snapping into a sausage, kind of.
It kind of is, actually.
And it's really good. Really good texture.
Well, folks, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you learned some things. We got to go clean up that table over there before a raven lands there and steals all of our ingredients. Until next time, keep the old ways alive.
You heard it? You're first.